Greetings, my friends. This is Zayd, your guide from Thrones of Knowledge. I hope all viewers are doing well, healthy and filled with curiosity today. Today, our journey takes us to one of the most mysterious civilizations of the ancient Americas, the Olmecs, often called the mother culture of Mesoamerica. The Olmec civilization laid the foundation for many traditions, beliefs, and innovations, later seen in cultures like the Maya and Aztec. But who exactly were the Olmecs, and how did their world come into being? The Olmec civilization first appeared around 1500 BCE in the tropical lowlands of what is now southern Veracruz and Tabasco in Mexico. This region, rich with rivers, fertile soils, and humid forests, provided everything necessary for early communities to grow. Unlike some later civilizations, the Olmecs did not leave behind written histories that we can easily read. Instead, their legacy comes to us through archaeology, through colossal stone monuments, through artifacts carved from jade, and through the ruins of sacred centers. One of their earliest known cities was San Lorenzo. Built around 1200 BCE, it rose as a ceremonial and political hub. Archaeologists have found massive stone heads here, some weighing up to 40 tons. Each head represents an Olmec ruler, immortalized in stone, with helmets and features carved in powerful detail. San Lorenzo eventually declined, but the Olmecs built another great center, La Venta. This city reached its peak around 900 BCE, with complex ceremonial platforms, burial offerings, and even the earliest known pyramid in Mesoamerica. What makes the Olmecs especially fascinating is that they seem to have pioneered many ideas later expanded by other civilizations. They may have been among the first in the Americas to organize long-distance trade networks. Through rivers and coastal routes, they exchanged jade, obsidian, basalt, and even cacao beans. Their influence spread far beyond their homeland. Artifacts in distant regions show Olmec-style designs, proving their ideas traveled across Mesoamerica. Before we move to our today, I want to say that this channel is user-friendly. No offensive content, no misinformation. We explain things with respect, curiosity, and authenticity. In the next segment, we'll explore the Olmecs' cultural contributions, their religion, symbolism, and artistic achievements. The Olmecs were not only builders of cities, they were creators of meaning. Their civilization gave birth to powerful symbols, rituals, and traditions that shaped the spiritual imagination of Mesoamerica. At the heart of Olmec culture was religion. But unlike later civilizations that left clear records, the Olmec worldview must be pieced together from carvings, statues, and ritual offerings. One recurring theme is the figure of the were-jaguar. This symbol, part human and part jaguar, appears in statues, masks, and carvings. Some scholars believe it represented a deity, a bridge between the human and animal worlds. Others suggest it symbolized shamanic transformation, where spiritual leaders entered altered states to communicate with the divine. The jaguar itself was one of the most sacred animals of the Olmecs. Living in the dense jungles, it embodied strength, mystery, and dominance. Its presence in their art reminds us of how nature and spirituality were deeply intertwined. The Olmecs also appear to have had a strong connection with rain, fertility, and maize. Carvings of supernatural beings, often with infant-like features, are thought to represent a maize god. Since agriculture sustained life, worship of such deities would have been central to their survival. Beyond religion, the Olmecs were extraordinary artists. Their colossal stone heads remain unmatched in scale and craftsmanship, each one unique. They likely portrayed rulers with individualized features, suggesting that political power was tied closely to divine authority. But the artistry of the Olmecs was not limited to giant monuments. They worked jade into miniature figures, crafted altars with complex reliefs, and created ceremonial masks that influenced generations to come. Perhaps most intriguing is the possibility that the Olmecs developed one of the earliest writing systems in the Americas. The cacao block, a stone tablet discovered in Veracruz, bears mysterious symbols. Many scholars see this as evidence of Olmec script. If true, it pushes back the origins of writing in Mesoamerica by centuries. Similarly, they may have invented the sacred Mesoamerican ball game. Archaeological remains of rubber balls, as well as courts aligned with ceremonial centers, suggest this tradition began with the Olmecs. Later civilizations refined it, but its roots may lie in Olmec society. This blend of religion, art, and innovation makes the Olmecs stand out. They were not only shaping stone, they were shaping ideas that endured long after their own decline. In the next segment, we will uncover the social structure, daily life, and mysterious decline of this remarkable civilization. When we think of the Olmecs, we often imagine colossal stone heads and sacred centers. But behind these monuments was a living society filled with farmers, artisans, traders, and rulers. The backbone of Olmec society was agriculture. They grew maize, beans, squash, and cacao. The fertile river valleys of Veracruz and Tabasco allowed year-round farming. Fishing and hunting added variety to their diet. This abundance of food supported population growth and made it possible for leaders and priests to focus on ceremony, politics, and art. At the top of society stood the rulers. They were not only political leaders, but also religious figures, believed to connect humans with the gods. Their portraits, carved into massive stone heads, symbolize power and divine authority. Supporting the rulers were priests, shamans, and elites, who organized rituals, offerings, and the building of ceremonial centers. Beneath them, skilled artisans crafted jade ornaments, masks, and tools. Farmers and laborers, forming the largest part of society, built monumental sites, worked the fields, and carried heavy stones from distant quarries. Daily life for most Olmecs was simple, yet tied to the rhythms of nature. Villagers lived in thatched houses, raised families, and participated in local ceremonies. Festivals likely celebrated harvests, rainfall, and cycles of fertility. One mystery still debated by scholars is the extent of Olmec urbanism. Were cities like San Lorenzo and La Venta true urban centers, or were they primarily ceremonial sites? What is certain is that these centers were magnets of activity, drawing people from across the region. As for their decline, it remains one of history's puzzles. Around 400 BCE, the Olmec ceremonial centers faded. San Lorenzo had already declined centuries earlier, and La Venta followed. Why did this happen? Theories range from environmental change to shifts in river courses to possible internal conflict. Volcanic eruptions and flooding may have disrupted farming and forced people to migrate. Yet even as the Olmec centers emptied, their cultural influence survived. Later civilizations, the Maya, Zapotec, and Aztec, all carried forward Olmec ideas about rulership, religion, art, and symbolism. The Olmecs may have vanished as a people, but they lived on in legacy. Their ball game, sacred symbols, and monumental artistry echoed across centuries of Mesoamerican history. In the next and final segment, we will examine the enduring legacy of the Olmecs and the modern discoveries that continue to reveal their secrets. The Olmec civilization may have declined over 2,000 years ago, but their influence never disappeared. Instead, it spread across Mesoamerica, shaping cultures that followed. Later civilizations, such as the Maya and Aztec, borrowed religious imagery, ball game traditions, and ceremonial architecture that trace back to Olmec roots. Even the concept of rulers as divine figures appears to have begun with them. Archaeologists today continue to uncover new insights into this mother culture. Sites like San Lorenzo, La Venta, and Tres Zapotes remain central to our understanding. Excavations reveal complex city planning, ritual offerings, and networks of trade that stretched hundreds of kilometers The colossal heads, perhaps their most famous legacy, stand as timeless reminders of their artistry. Each carved from volcanic basalt, these heads were transported from distant mountains, a feat requiring both engineering skill and social organization. Modern science has also opened new doors. By analyzing soil samples, researchers have reconstructed Olmec diets and farming methods. Advanced scanning technologies allow us to see inside buried structures without disturbing them. Chemical studies of jade and obsidian artifacts trace their trade routes, proving that Olmec influence extended far beyond their homeland. One of the most exciting debates concerns writing. The cacao block, discovered in Veracruz, bears symbols that some scholars believe represent the earliest writing in the Americas. If confirmed, it would mean the Olmecs were not only artists and engineers, but also inventors of script. The Olmecs also laid the groundwork for the famous Mesoamerican ball game. What began as a ritual activity would later evolve into a tradition that carried deep political and religious meaning. Through all of this, the Olmecs remind us that civilizations can rise, transform and decline, yet leave legacies that endure for millennia. All the information we provide comes from verified historical sources, including books, records, and archaeology. Sources used for this script include Richard A. Deal, The Olmecs, America's First Civilization, Twitter's Fair, Michael D. Coe, Mexico, From the Olmecs to the Aztecs, 2013, research articles from the Smithsonian Institution, National Institute of Anthropology and History, Mexico, INA. Archaeological findings published in Science and Latin American Antiquity. Friends, if you enjoyed learning about the Olmecs, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Thrones of Knowledge. Press the bell icon so you never miss our next journey into history. And tell us in the comments what topic you would like us to explore next, so together we make this learning experience the best.